Is Terence Crawford still pound for pound top dog? What have you done for me lately?
All right, so some exciting boxing going on right now. It's a new era of boxing. We have Terry here with Field of Dreams Academy, and he's a boxing enthusiast, practices boxing as well. Who right now would you say is pound for pound?
Wow, great question. Well, I'm gonna answer it two ways. My all-time pound for pound is Floyd Mayweather.
Floyd Mayweather.
Speaks for itself, impact on the sport. He's made it where every professional fighter has benefited from what he's done to the sport. Right now, I'm gonna say Terence Crawford, believe it or not.
Okay. Terence Crawford, why? What has he done for you lately?
Terence reminds me of Floyd, where everybody says he's not that good, but he continues to win. He gets it done. People saying, well, he's not fighting who he should be fighting. He's fighting the man that's in front of him, and he's dominating, he's winning. So to me, he's proved his point. Until someone else steps up, right now, it's Terence Crawford.
Okay, would you say that it's Terence Crawford that is looking for someone to step up, or should other people look for Terence Crawford to step up?
The general population would say the latter, but I'm gonna say it's time for someone to step up and call him out. If you don't think he's the best, call him out.
Okay. Now, you've been a businessman as well. You are familiar with the financial and the business part of the sport.
Of course.
All right. So now, if let's say you have in your weight class that you just moved up to, let's say 3 years ago, and you notice all the champions and all of your contemporaries in the top are with, let's say, PBC, and you are with Top Rank. You get a chance to get out of your contract with Top Rank and to fight the other fighters who everyone else wants you to fight, but you decide to stay at Top Rank where you know it's going to be some difficulty with the business. What would you have to say about that?
Well, those who aspire to be greatness, they don't allow that to be a hurdle. If Terence is saying that it's because of whom I'm affiliated with or another boxer, when two boxers want to fight to be who's known as the greatest, that doesn't matter. I've seen it time and time before. So they can control that opportunity to meet each other, not the management firm or the promoter.
Okay. Now, with the business side, meaning also one person is going to want to be the A side, the other person is going to have to be the B side. So in negotiations, that is a big part of negotiation. One side, let's say Errol Spence is saying, well, I have all of the belts over here on my side of the street. I'm going to clear it up so that I have the trump cards with negotiating. I have the negotiating power. While the other one has no one else to fight and has no way to really negotiate. One outsells the other one by leaps and bounds. The other one, I want total pay-per-view fights haven't matched one of Errol Spence's pay-per-view fights. So in negotiations, knowing that negotiations is going to be loud like that, and you're stuck on Terence Crawford having a 60-40 advantage in the negotiations, what would you say about what we have to do to make that a realistic scenario?
Let's talk about the art of war. And in the art of war, it says understanding what you do bring to the table in spite of what your opponent has. So my opponent may have the belts, but for my opponent to get the greatness that he seeks, he has to fight me. That's my point of negotiation. My opponent says he's worth more and he's made more, but the real money that he can make is fighting me. I walk to the table knowing that. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter who comes out first on the fight song music or who comes out last. It's the motherfucker who's standing at the end that all matters. So you come to the table saying, this is what I bring when we both benefit, because at the end, who's gonna be the greatest of the two? That's how you negotiate.
So what does Terence Crawford bring?
What does he bring?
Yes. His best victory was who? Victor Postol? And that was in another weight class? I mean, what is he bringing to the... I'm a Terence Crawford fan, but I don't see what he's bringing to the table.
Name recognition.
Okay. Name recognition. All right.
The body of work over a period of time. So that's a credibility that comes for those who are true boxing enthusiasts, and those are the general public when they start getting into a fight. Because you got two audiences that you must address. Those who know the sport
Yep.
and value the sport and the hard work, and then those that you appeal to as far as the sport of entertainment, the entertainment side, the general masses.
Exactly.
So you have to look at that. So what he brings is that to the table. Hey, his body work speaks for itself, where there's an interest for the general masses to put on, and then there's a credibility that you need on the boxing side of the other people. Say, okay, he's a quality opponent. That's what he brings to the table.
When it comes to interest, knowing that he doesn't sell a lot and he does not produce a lot of income. His own promoter, Bob Arum, said that he has lost so much money on Terence Crawford and said he needs to get better at promoting himself. Now, I'm of the fashion that the fighter fights and the promoter promotes. But with what you're saying, he brings name recognition, and you also talk about fans of a higher caliber who really know the sport. Sometimes they also know the business of it as well. Top Rank is affiliated with ESPN, and they are known for trumping up fights and trumping up fighters to make it seem like they're more than what they really are. Then when it is time for them to fight a real fighter, they get embarrassed. Terence Crawford, since being a welterweight, really hasn't proven a lot to a lot of people. They say, okay, well, he's a champion. Well, he beat Joe Horn. How did Joe Horn get a belt? Well, they say he beat Pacquiao. Does anyone believe he beat Pacquiao? Things like that. So a lot of true fans of both the business and the art of combat are going to be thinking about that too when it comes to Terence Crawford.
My response to your question initially, and as you've gone through, is it's both faults. First of all, Terence Crawford hasn't stopped fighting in Nebraska. That is not a fight town. Yeah, you a hometown boy, but you got to go where the opportunity is. That is New York, Las Vegas, now Los Angeles. He's got to fight in other parts of the markets. That's number one. Bob Arum has to force that. If it's about the money side, then he has to do a better job. So what has he invested in creating that type of atmosphere in that setting? He hasn't. So they both were at fault. You're absolutely right. Because if I want to see Terence fight, I'm going to wait till it's on television, because I am not going to Nebraska to see him fight, no matter how much of a fan I am. That's not where I want to go. But if it's going to be in Vegas, I'm there. If it's in New York, I'm there.
Okay, that's the same with boxing fans thinking about if he sticks and stays at Top Rank, I don't want to see him fight any of those fights over at Top Rank. But if he goes over to PBC, where it is a fight town, then I'm interested in seeing that. Now, if you were Terence Crawford and your promoter told you that he doesn't make a lot of money with you, he's made it public that he doesn't even want to speak to you anymore, you have to do all your negotiations with his son-in-law, Todd DeBuck. And you still decide you're going to stay over there. You don't have the fights you want. Your own promoter's talking about you, but you decide to stay. Some can look at that as, oh, you don't really want the smoke. Your promoter is trying to get rid of you, and you still trying to stay over there.
That's some truth there.
All the money is on the other side. Your promoter said, yeah, it might be a good deal if he goes over to PBC.
Then he needs to leave. So as a fan of Terence Crawford, it is time to go.
Yeah.
And on that, I say that he's still the best is out there today.
There it is. I like it. I appreciate that, young fella.